Good morning, folks. How are you doing today? So, in this hot take, it's actually going to be a two-part series. In this first hot take, I'm going to do a what if scenario that is generally seen as positive for real estate. And then, very quickly, after finishing this one, I will do part B, which will be hey, what if some things went the other direction and things were net negative for housing. So again, this is part A of this sample, so you may want to watch both of these hot takes. This first hot take is what happens if, and these are all ifs, the 30-year mortgage rate continues to drop. Currently, as of today's reporting, the average is 3%. So one of the things that I ask myself a lot is I'm trying to play what if games into the future, right? I'm trying to make business decisions today that can play out years in advance. I am not a stock market trader. I am not in and out of investments in minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, or even years. When I purchase a rental, a single family home, my intention the day I buy it is to hold it forever. So one of the things I must consider is what happens 3, 4, 5 years from now to my residential investment. So when I sit down and I go, okay, what is one option for the future? One of the things that I see as possible, but not probable, is interest rates, meaning the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, what I recommend and use in my investments, continues to fall from 3%, and then I just arbitrarily picked 1.5. Could it fall to 2? Could it go lower? I don't know. I just had to pick a number. So a couple of things. If interest rates continue to fall, I think a couple of things are certain in my business. First and foremost, any single family home that I own today will increase in value. What the YouTube entertainers out there do not understand or appreciate or just have never experienced is most of the appreciation we get in housing is payment based. I have told you about the affordability index hundreds of times. I credit it in my book, One Rental at a Time, with saving us from the '08 crash because we got out at the peak. And thus, I know that if interest rates fall from 3 to 2.5 to 2 to 1.5, that people will simply pay more for housing because their mortgage payment goes down. So, value of my existing portfolio could go up 20, 25, 30% without impacting payment. So the first thing to realize is if interest rates continue to fall, my existing portfolio gets more valuable. I will continually watch the affordability index because prices could get nuts. We've seen that before, and I've been in that movie, and I will get out. I am not a buy and hold forever. If somebody wants to overpay, I will gladly let them. So again, if interest rates went down, my belief is values reported by Case Shiller, the Real Estate Association, will be up. I believe the momentum in single-family homes will go from hot to in fuego, to just screaming higher. People will be talking about, hey, I just made 10, 20, 30 grand in my house, just like they did in '05, '06 before the crash. So if you are on the side that interest rates, specifically the 30-year mortgage, are going to fall, for the most part, you could see values or your net worth increase. Now remember, no alligators, no negative cash flow, none of that stuff. So only buy stuff that makes sense. Don't bet on appreciation. But when you get a cash flow asset and it sits in your portfolio and you see appreciation in the future, that's not horrible. That's okay. But don't put it in your buying spreadsheet. Don't count on it. But hey, if rates go from 3 to 1.5, most of the real estate you own will be more valuable. The second thing that I see happening that could really goose the single family market is if we have a $15,000 or $10,000 tax credit specifically focused on first time buyers. So in this example, let's assume 30 years stays at 3%, so no variability there. But the administration comes out and says, we want to encourage homeownership. Homeownership is, something we need more of. We will help every first-time buyer by giving them a tax credit of 10 or 15 grand on your first purchase only. I believe that will take a hot and constrained real estate market and double or triple demand below the median. You got to remember, most first-time buyers, they are going to be at entry-level housing. Yes, there'll be some rich people that never bought a house that will, but that's the exception. A $10,000 or $15,000 tax credit will be disproportionately impactful on affordable housing. And let's not be confused. Today's market is very constrained. We have a huge supply problem. Now, yes, heading into next year, it is entirely possible that supply starts to grow because the forbearance period is over. People that need to sell. But I believe any tax credit that we get, especially if targeted at first-time buyers, will double, triple, and in some markets, quadruple demand for entry-level housing. So what does that mean if you see it coming? First and foremost, if you were an owner of that kind of asset, congratulations. More demand than supply means, again, your net worth goes higher. I believe the greatest impact of entry-level housing, if this were to happen, would actually be on builders. I believe builders will dramatically orient themselves towards entry-level housing. Right now, there's a pretty big slant towards luxury. It's the only thing that's kind of moving and that is profitable. But if the next administration or this administration comes in and says, homeownership good, 15K tax credit for first-time buyers, you will see the Lennars of the world, KB Homes, all of these monster construction companies go, okay, that's what the administration wants. Let's go build a lot of 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 1-story, 1,500 square foot homes. Where today they're building 3,000, 3,200, 3,600 homes. So again, if you are an owner of affordable housing and we get a tax credit or lower rates, I believe your net worth is about to go up. I believe the demand picture is going to pick up. I believe there is a chance that builders reorient, especially with the tax credit. So in the end, this is my one what-if scenario. So what do I do today? If I believe that those two things are coming, I buy single-family homes that make cash flow sense. Because what could I do? If I close today or next month, remember, only buy if it cash flows, no alligators. I will see an increase in my net worth, which doesn't suck, but don't plan for it. But B, I can refi. I can actually refinance my building and hopefully just do a rate and term refi. So if you go in at 3% and then lower it to 2%, your cash flow expands. It's a magical thing. One of my apartment buildings, we're actively looking to refi because the prepayment periods are now over. We're going to save several $1,000s a month just by doing a rate and term refi, not taking zero equity out of the building. These are things you could do as a single family investor as well. Buy today, put 30-year debt on, 2, 3, 4 years from now, rates are better, refi. Right? It's possible. So in the end, this is part A of a 2-part series. The next series, just so you know what it's going to be, it's going to be what happens if the 30-year spikes from 3 to 6%, and what happens if all the tax goodies go away, depreciation, all of those kinds of things. So what would happen in that market? So that, stay tuned. That will be part of Plan B. Take care. Bye-bye.